Hey y'all, it's Quijuandas. Welcome back to my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're new, please consider subscribing and tap the bell to be notified every time I upload a video. In today's video, I'll be sharing my hospital versus birth center experience, which I would choose if I had to do it all over again and why. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts, just keep on watching. Let me preface this by saying that I've thankfully had 2 healthy, low-risk pregnancies, and the route you choose should be dependent upon the care you need along with what your personal preferences are. Now, although my second child is my last, if I had to do it all over again and the circumstances were optimal, I would 1000% have another birth center birth. I'll give you 5 reasons why. The first reason I would choose to give birth at a birth center versus the hospital is they offer less pain management options. Now, that may sound like a con to some, but just hear me out. My desire has always been to have a natural, unmedicated childbirth unless medical intervention was necessary. And although I did stand my ground when giving birth at the hospital, I would be lying if I said there wasn't a point where I almost gave into an epidural. I'll link my hospital birth story in one of these corners, but those contractions, waves, surges, or whatever else you want to nickname them, they can be very intense. And giving birth in a hospital setting does come with the pressure to use medical intervention for pain relief. However, at most birth centers, pain relief comes in the form of more natural remedies, such as water therapy, massages, laughing gas, stuff like that. So giving birth at a birth center is a better option for me since it eliminates the option to get an epidural or for any other medical intervention. Another reason I would choose a birth center over a hospital is, in my experience, having a midwife was a lot more personable than having an OBGYN. Well, I guess this one is more so for midwife versus OBGYN than it is hospital versus birth center, because there are midwives who deliver babies at hospitals, but mine's happen to have a freestanding birth center, so we just gonna roll with that. Either way, I felt like I had more one-on-one support with my midwife. I never felt like a number. I never felt rushed during my appointment times. And speaking of appointments, I never set an appointment time with my midwife only to still be waiting in a waiting room after my appointment time. My midwives, they were top tier. They were always on time, and they always took as much time as I needed to make sure that I felt supported and comforted throughout my pregnancy, my labor, and now postpartum. The third reason I would choose a birth center over the hospital is the cost. Birth centers are not always covered by insurance, but mine was, and according to Google, the average vaginal birth with no complications usually costs about half of what the same type of delivery at a hospital would cost. And I can definitely attest to that, because with my first delivery, we were still getting bills when a kid was almost 1 from people I don't even remember being in the delivery room. Everybody wanted to get paid, but with my midwifery care, it ended with us getting a refund check, so there's that. Another reason I would choose the birth center again is, although my birth plan was the exact same for both my hospital and my birth center birth, I felt more in control and like I truly owned my birth at the birth center. At the birth center, I was free to move about. I wasn't hooked up to anything. I could eat, try different laboring positions. I wasn't being constantly monitored. My midwives were there, but they weren't in the way. They stood guard, of course, to make sure that I wasn't showing any signs of major distress, but when it came down to it, they asked me what I wanted to do and trusted my body to do what it was made to do. If you watched my most recent birth story, then you know I had my baby within an hour of me arriving at the birth center, and I feel like that was partly due to me just feeling comfortable and empowered to birth like a boss. Now for my last reason, scoot up, because it's about to get real around here. Allow me to state the obvious. I am a Black woman. And unfortunately, the maternal death rate for Black women is significantly higher than any other racial group. I mentioned in one of my birth stories that I am not a fan of hospitals. Not fearful, just not a fan. And the mortality rate and racial disparities definitely play a huge role in that. A hospital is somewhere I'm supposed to feel safe, and I can't say that I do most of the time. And I've had experiences outside of childbirth that solidify my feelings. So for that reason alone, if I had to do it all over again, I would personally opt for a birth center over a hospital birth. So those are the top 5 reasons I favored my birth center experience over my hospital experience. I hope this video was both helpful and insightful. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video with all you people. And until next time, I'll talk to y'all later.